As we continue through our data intensity track, I'm excited to hand it back to John Foley. Joining him is Christoph Malassa, Managing Consultant and Head of Analytics and Intelligence Solutions at Siemens, as well as Mauricio Aristazabal, Principal Data Architect at Impact.com. John, back to you.
Hi, I'm John Foley, editor of the Cloud Database Report, and thanks for joining us. I'd like to welcome everyone to this conversation with two SingleStore customers, Siemens and Impact, about the innovative work they're doing to build newer, better, and much faster analytics applications using SingleStore's cloud database. We're going to discuss the new capabilities they're developing and also the business impact of their initiatives. So let me start by introducing Christoph Malassa, Head of Analytics and Intelligence Solutions with Siemens. Hey, Christoph.
Hi. Yeah, my name is Christoph Malassa, and as you said, I work for Siemens. I'm the head of the group called Analytics and Intelligence Systems out of Mannheim, Germany, and I'm really happy to be here today.
Hey, great, Christoph. And also Mauricio Aristazabal, Principal Data Architect with Impact. Hey, Mauricio, how are you?
Hello. I'm doing well, thank you. Mauricio here out of Santa Barbara. I'm the data architect at Impact.com, responsible for delivering analytics to a wide variety of clients, internal and external.
Okay, great. So let's just jump right into this. Thank you both for joining us here. Christoph, let's start with you. Can you describe your organization at Siemens and the data management or business challenges that you are looking to solve?
Yeah, so in my team, we build and run a platform called Pulse that is used primarily Siemens internally, but it's also available to the external market now, that is solving a lot of different business questions, to be honest. And so the challenges that we're seeing is that because we're getting more and more data from different sources, we also at the same time have more and more requirements coming to us when it comes to advanced analytics and also performance. So what we're essentially doing is we help our internal and external customers to answer the business questions that they have with the data that they have.
Great. Thanks, Christoph. Mauricio, tell us a little bit about your organization at Impact and the data management or business challenges you're looking to solve.
Sure. So we at Impact, we do partnerships and performance advertising. So we track impressions and clicks and sales, and then we correlate them. We calculate payouts. And we distribute funds seamlessly across from those brands to those publishers throughout the entire world. So we do this in 60 plus currencies. We also do attribution, we do fraud detection, we do brand compliance, influencer management, and several other ancillary products. So we work with just about every major retailer in the US, Walmart, Target, Best Buy, and lots of other worldwide brands. Including some internet darlings, Uber, Airbnb, lots of them, and thousands of publishers and websites. And most of the newspaper sites that you may browse today are doing advertising with us. And we need to provide timely and fast analytics to those brands and those publishers, as well as internal customers. So that's my role.
Okay, thank you. Now, next question, let's get into the use cases. Christoph, maybe you could start by telling us the primary use cases that you've got running and that you're building, and also why you chose SingleStore to do this.
Well, it's actually a difficult question. So, Pulse as a platform has multiple, hundreds of projects on it, and they all have different use cases. But if I had to break them down, we have analytics use cases, and then we also have surveys. So we run a lot of different surveys where we get data essentially from non-existing sources. So we have to ask people like employees, customers, suppliers to give us, the data that we need for analytics. And so we have all of these sources, SAP systems, data warehouses, data lakes, external sources, internal sources, and surveys. And so we collect all of that data, and then we want to run analytics. And the main challenge that we had in the past was that if we wanted to run analytics in real time, meaning that we don't have any data prepared for queries because we don't know what our users want. So they have a tremendous amount of flexibility. They can drill down as much as they want. They can slice and dice the data all online. And they also expect really, really fast response times. And I'm talking less than half a second. And so what we were looking for a couple of years ago was just the fastest relational database that we could find. And so that's, I guess, the answer to your question, why are we using SingleStore? Because we haven't seen anything that's faster yet.
Okay, thank you. Mauricio, primary use case and why SingleStore?
Sure. So it does all kinds of stuff, but mainly reporting, both standard reports when people log into the website or the app or whatever, as well as user-created reports, ad hoc analytics, APIs, extracts, data science model training, as well as by key lookups for certain jobs. We chose SingleStore initially for its sub-second reporting capability, even in certain cases where we needed to join multiple large tables. It was able to do this efficiently via shard keys, which others didn't have. And we tested it out for all of those other cases that I mentioned, and it really checked all the boxes. So we have now, over the last 6 months, started to adopt it as our main data warehouse for everything we do. And it's also worth saying that most of our ingest is real time, which was another key requirement and something that others didn't do so well. And yeah.
Mauricio, I want to talk to you both about what your organization is able to do now on the new platform that you couldn't do before. You both mentioned really speed of analytics, I think. So maybe you could take this question first. What are you able to do now that you couldn't do before? And also maybe mention the business impact that has.
Yeah, well, the main thing is sub-second reporting. The stack we were in before, really, we, as much as we tried to optimize data structures and the SQL itself, we couldn't really get report runtimes to go under 2 seconds. 2, 5, 10 seconds in some cases, whereas with SingleStore, we've really been able to address all the different reporting needs in sub-second time, sometimes even sub 500 milliseconds. So that was the main requirement, be able to deliver a positive human experience and delight our customers. Beyond that, now that we've adopted it as our full data warehouse, we are able to serve all other workloads, including by key fast lookups from the same table, avoiding data duplication. And this is, in many cases, in tables that have many billions of records. So being able to just have data in one place and serve all kinds of different tenants and workloads is just wonderful.
And Christoph, same question for you, which is what can you do now that you couldn't do before? And maybe talk a little bit about the business impact.
Yeah, so initially the same situation, right? We now have the ability to do ad hoc analytics on data volumes that we couldn't do in the past. But then after we had that for some time, we were thinking, okay, what else can we do? And so we're now doing more and more advanced analytics live. So for example, if you have, let's say, a survey, multiple millions of responses, and you want to correlate questions, you can do this online. There's almost no delay. So things that had to happen offline are now available online to everybody with full flexibility. So just the analytics that you can now do give you way more insight. And it's difficult to measure that, of course, but this is tremendous for the business. And the second thing is process improvements for us. So for example, we can now do machine learning translation of comments in the database, right? So we get comments in any language, and then the database, so SingleStore uses machine learning that we can purchase from other sources, and it automatically translates a comment into any other language that we want. So there's no other processes involved. And so this makes it a lot easier for us to just innovate faster.
Yeah, well, speed of decision making and fast analytics seems to be a common theme here. Let's talk about what's next. Christoph, I'll start with you. Looking ahead, what are the next steps on your roadmap in terms of new capabilities or opportunities that you would like to pursue at Siemens with this platform?
Yeah, I think there's two main things. One is we want to increase data volume, so add sources that we just didn't add in the past because of data volume restrictions, so we get more insight. But then also increase our capabilities when it comes to advanced analytics that you can do online. So I have a survey topic that we're currently trying to build where if you have some results for you want to see a benchmark, and you don't have benchmarks available, we can actually calculate on-the-fly benchmarks for yourself based on the structure of the subset of your customers, for example. So if you have a lot of customers from a certain country and you know that that country always is giving better ratings, then we can correct for that on the fly. And we can tell you, this is where you should be compared to where you are. So you benchmark against yourself. And this is something that we can now do online, which is really interesting. So adding just more analytical capabilities.
Okay, great. And Mauricio, I'll let you wrap things up here. What about next steps in terms of new capabilities or opportunities at Impact?
Yeah, absolutely. For us, the next thing is workspaces. We're super excited about that. I believe it just went GA. So we currently use resource pools, but we'll be replacing those with separate workspaces for total separation of tenants and workloads. That way we can avoid one affecting another, especially our API workload can be exposed to certain bad behavior. And also that way we can grow and shrink these workspaces separately as needed. That way we can keep costs down while also meeting SLAs. So it's possible to fine tune the resources allocated to each of these tenants and workloads. So we're very excited about that. And so far we've been trying it out and it's working really well.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear the potential for using some of the newer capabilities that SingleStore has just announced. So that wraps things up here. Mauricio, Christoph, thank you both for sharing your time with us, and thanks to everyone for joining us for this conversation.
You're welcome.
Thank you for having us.